What's going on, my good people? What's going on? Welcome you to another episode of Back to Black. And the topic for today is, we're going to talk about, it's a hard and harsh subject at the same time, but we're going to try to talk about it as polite as we can here. Black businesses, man, and the customer service and what they're of the customer service. Are we supposed to support black businesses no matter what? I know that we're going to go ahead and close the door. Let's close the door. We're going to not let outsiders in on this one. And for you that don't know, you know what I mean by outsiders. We do have a tendency to put a lot of our business out there in the street. I don't feel like when we have these type of discussions, we don't supposed to include everybody. What I mean by everybody, y'all know what I mean by everybody. Do I have to say it? Come on now. I feel like we shouldn't be bad-mouthing our own people, honestly. So I'm going to watch what I say when I say what I say. But I'm still going to be a little harsh, and I'm going to give my opinion. Now, I do believe in a lot of cases in these type of situations that I do hear we say that, I guess that we get a little relaxed around our people and we tend to let that customer service slide. Yes, we do. We do. I've seen it. I witnessed it. So I feel what people say. And we tend to start acting like, we are all brothers and sisters and we tend to kind of get a little bit relaxed and let that customer service go. Now, mind you, I do a lot of business in different, aspects and different levels of business. Then I do a lot of business in different industries of business. So if I see, my word is my bond. So if I see your business lacking, I'm not going to recommend you. First of all, let's just put that out there. I'm not going to recommend you to move forward. And a lot of people ask me for that. And then they be wondering why I don't. But I'm real honest about mine. You know what I mean? Because I do business consulting also. And I usually try to help them out and tell them what I see wrong with their business. And if I see a lot of lateness or lacking in you trying to do something or saying that you're going to do something at a certain time and you don't, I'm not going to recommend you, because if I recommend you to somebody and you go over there and do a real relaxed job, you're making me look bad. So, we can't be acting but at the same time, it's also the same reason I don't believe in hiring a lot of family to do stuff. Same reason. And basically it's because family is not going to respect you as an authority figure as you think. To me, that's kind of like a common sense thing. It's almost like a friend. If you've been my friend for 20 plus years, you're not going to respect me as an authority figure because we have history. Same thing as like a girlfriend or a wife or a boyfriend or whatever. You know what I mean? You can do it to a certain extent, but it's not going to be the same because, if you have a disagreement, it's going to be hard for that person just to take that in stride and walk off without saying something. You know what I mean? As it would be if there was a boss, because the threat is always there with a boss that this joker might fire me. You know what I'm saying? So it's not the same threat not going to be there, because a wife, for example, you're not going to fire her. She know you're still going home with you. So it's not going to have that same sting as a person would if they just work for you. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I could give you just a bunch of examples, but I think everybody pretty much gets the gist of what I'm trying to say. For people that don't know, I own a real estate business, right? And I try my best. I promise you, I try my best to use a lot of black contractors and black people into doing what I do. I really do, as much as I possibly can. But I do run into a lot of obstacles, though. And what I mean by obstacles is people I got a lot of deadlines. It's a lot of, especially if I'm flipping a house or something, it has to be done by a certain amount of time. Because most of the times, especially in this day and age, a lot of times this stuff be sold the moment, almost way before I'm almost done. So it has to be done a certain amount of time because the people are trying to buy it. They ready to buy it before it's done. So I run into a lot of people being super relaxed. You know what I mean? Maybe because I'm cool. Hell, maybe because they feel comfortable with me or something. But I could give them the deadline and I could go check on the house and realize 2 days have went by and they haven't even went by it. You know what I'm saying? They haven't went in and did any work. And I usually end up firing them for that kind of thing. But it always start like that. I got somebody I'm about to fire right now for the same type of reason. And I don't know what it is. And I've met a few people, over the years Like I know a young lady that she does basically the same thing I do, but she does it with apartment complexes, and she's just basically told me she's completely stopped using black people as contractors because of the same reason. They just won't like show up when they should and things like that. Now I hate to even put that out in the atmosphere. That's why I said close the door, because to me that's a stereotype, because everybody's not like that. You know what I mean? Like I've met people like that, but for those people I met like that, I told her the same thing. I also have a guy that he don't play. He get in there and get down. You understand me? You know what I mean? Like, and plus some people have a bad day too. Then it's also some people are just not organized. You know what I mean? Like that's what I do when I do business consulting, because everybody don't know how to run a business. They just don't know how. Like I hate to even, well, you know, I'm not gonna say I hate to do it, but the Caucasians, you know what I'm saying, in some instances have a bit of a jump on us to begin with, because it depends on the schooling that they had and, you know, the education that they had also, because everybody doesn't have business savvy, if you will. If they went to a school that taught them that, they already got, like, you know, hell, if it was a race, a 3-length advantage on learning something. Like, most people that I meet like that, if they're willing to learn, because I do business consulting, I do try to teach them where they went wrong at and what they're not doing right in order to make them better so they can see it. Because sometimes, not all the time now, I'm not going to lie, sometimes people just lazy. But sometimes they really don't have a clue of what they're doing wrong. You know what I mean? Sometimes it'd be overbooking. Like, for example, I've recently helped a woman that owns a beauty salon, and one of her main problems was she was in too small of a spot. 1, 2, she was overbooking. 3, she had way too many clients where she needed some help, and she was overbooking. And like in a lot of cases, like she had the same kind of problem that I also helped a guy that did like body shop work. Like a lot of people, like they just looking at the money. They trying to make all the money possible, but you also messing up your customer service by overbooking, because you're pissing people off. So now you're losing customers, and you're making people mad. You know what I mean? By not being able to help them in the extent that you could, and now your work is slacking. So you're making a bad name for yourself. So it's really not helping you. So you're lacking on your customer service. So you will do better by actually hiring people that can help you in order to make them more money. You can't get more customers. It's like saying, like, let me see. It's like saying you have a store and you're increasing your product, but you're not increasing your workforce. When you think of it that way, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? There's no way to do that. You have to increase your workforce. It's like, it's basic business stuff that a lot of us don't have. And then it's, when you try to teach some people that, some people not acceptive of it. Now, I ain't gonna say some people, a lot of people are, because a lot of people are set in their ways. So most of the time, if I did try to share that with someone and they're not acceptive of it, I kind of leave it alone. But I do try to do it anyway, like as far as like keep it black. But for the most part, the people I talk to are acceptive of it if you try to advise them in the right way. Now, if you coming at them kind of like a smart butt, you know, and you kind of being like sarcastic about it or something, no, they're probably not going to be too receptive of what you're trying to say. But if you coming at them in like an intelligent way and make them, you know, try to understand and where you coming from with it, they get it. Because I'm like, my thing is this. At one point in life, one point in history, I'm sorry, we used to do that because, you know, as a kid, when I was growing up, I remember there was whole streets and grocery stores that was black, and whole streets of stores that was black. And we kind of lost that. And I think it's due to that mentality and that thinking that, you know, if it's black, it ain't going to quite be right. So we kind of got away from it. And I kind of think we need to get back to it. And I think that's how it comes, where you have, if we spend money in these black businesses, you'll get back to stuff happening in the neighborhood. Because I remember when I was growing up, you almost didn't have to leave the neighborhood to do a lot. You know, as far as shopping, you almost could have stayed in your neighborhood where you were. you left the neighborhood to do some shopping, but not a lot. Not a lot. That way you kind of kept everything in your neighborhood, and you kind of kept the money to grow your neighborhood. That's how you kind of kept wealth and built wealth to your people and for your people. I think we kind of got away from that. And basically what I'm trying to get at is we're making a lot of people rich, but it ain't us. You understand me? I think we might need to get back at that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you haven't looked around, all the stores and stuff around us and gas stations and things of that nature are not owned by us anymore. But if you are old as me, like if you're old enough to remember early 80s, late 70s, you can remember a time that it was. Almost every store around us was black owned, like every store. You know what I mean? Like definitely within walking distance. Every store was. Every little eatery. Like I remember my uncle came to visit me one time from Dallas, and he wanted to go to these eateries and like these mom and pop eateries, because at one point it was a lot. I'm like, you got a point, it really was. I didn't realize until he said it. There was like a ridiculous amount of black owned eatery places, and they're gone. There were at one point, like there was an entire side of town of just mom and pop black eatery places, like fish fry places and just soul food places, things like that, Jamaican bars and Caribbean places to eat. It's still a few, but it's nowhere near as many as it used to be. Like I said, used to would have to leave your neighborhood to go get a meal or shop or clothes or go to a grocery store or hell, just get meat cut, get your steak cut or something like that. You didn't have to leave your neighborhood. You could just basically go up the street and go to whoever. And then they used to have credit and everything, that you can go get something, like if you didn't have enough money to payday, that kind of thing. So I think we got away from that, and I think we need to get back to it now. On the customer service side, I'm not going to lie, we are lacking in some areas, in some places where some of these people need some serious help with the customer service, which a lot of places have free business consulting that will help them with that, but I don't know if they know that they do. Most community colleges have some type of free ways to like business consultant that will help them set up their business to fix it. Kind of like those TV shows, kind of, sort of. But it's more like helping them with the financial than it is to do something like with customer service, but it will help them to set it up in some type of way. But I will say this. If you know you don't have the aptitude to be in customer service, don't get into a business that requires you to be customer service. If you know you're a person with a bad attitude or you're not a people person, do not try to open a business that puts you behind the counter. You got to deal with people every day, because it's just going to be bad for you. You find you something that you don't have to talk to people. Whatever business that is that I can't think of right on top of my head, that's what you need to find, because customer service is not your trade. I mean, don't feel bad about it. That's why I'm in real estate, because it's not something that I have to constantly just deal with customer service. I hire somebody for that. Like, I have somebody like in management that goes talk to people face to face. I don't do that. Not often. You know what I mean? You can do that too. You can hire somebody that actually is better than you to actually go talk to people to do the customer service part. You just don't do that part. You're supposed to know enough about yourself to know you're not that person, I would think. And to know that if you have a person that you hired, that they're not that person too. Don't put them in that position. Find somebody that is a cheerful person. Good Lord. I don't feel like it's that hard. But, neither here nor there. I think we definitely need to support black businesses. I'm not going to say no matter what, but I would definitely say, if you're not satisfied with the service, say something. Don't just walk out. Tell them something. Let them know. Let them know that, hey, I want to spend my money here, but, I'm not really feeling whatever it is you're not feeling. You let them know so they can at least know how they messed up to see if they can rectify the situation. Because if they constantly keep hearing the same thing and you hit them in the face with it, maybe they can go ahead and just make those changes and try to do better.